Hey everybody, it's Rob here. Today I want to talk about the new rune/stone system that's coming here with Season 3 and show you guys an overview of all the different runes that we have and we know about, and also its effects and how we might combine them and the impact that they have to builds. Before we get into all the details here, because I already made a spreadsheet and summarized everything, I want to go over two things that we might have missed, or that many of you might have missed in the announcement. So first of all, Blizzard has a website /upcoming here that tells you a bit more information than what was shown in the blog. You can see here the new boss is going to be called Malphas. It's going to be like a new raid/boss fight that you were going to have. They actually put Rob on the leaderboards, but on rank 5. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, so there's a new overview here of solo leaderboard on the Druid. And then here we get new unique and legendary aspects. So this is confirmed on our Battle.net website. Again, link is going to be in the description. We're going to get 6 new unique items and 7 new legendary aspects waiting to be unleashed next to all the other updates that we talked about. So it's going to be pretty cool. Maybe we'll even see the return of one more uber unique item. We have been getting the Staff of Lycandom with some previous updates. So they are pretty open to adding new uber uniques into the game. I would personally love to see the Stone of Jordan or something coming to the game, but we will see 7 new legendary aspects. So people already started to speculate maybe we're gonna have some of the vampiric powers that would be pretty cool to have as an aspect. For example, getting the metamorphosis as an utility aspect, or the ravenous attack speed power as an offensive aspect. But we will see. Maybe it's gonna be 7 completely new aspects and unique items. We'll see what they're going to do. And then another thing that people may have missed is actually in one of the blog posts, it talks about the Season 3 end date and about the Season 4 start date. And it's here stated that it's ending on April 26, 2024. So this will probably go in line with its launching on the 23rd of January. So it's going well in line with the 3-month schedule. And then in April we would get the new launch of Season 4, but this is going to be a Friday, so there might be hope that they're going to change the Tuesday releases to a Friday, which is much more friendly, I think, for many gamers out there, when the season actually launches on a weekend. But we'll see if this is holding true throughout the end. But yeah, they have been pretty consistent with this. The in-game has been showing a season end and season start date from the very beginning of the season, basically. And yeah, April 26 might be a Season 4 start date. Yeah, and then let's get into all these powers. So first of all, it's important to know, and people I've talked about here in the stream were a bit confused about, that we have the Impale and Project stones or runes in here, and that you only can have 1 melee and 1 utility. But this is just the type of Impale and the type of Protector. So you can, I assume, have a free choosing of which runes you take in here and which support stones runes you have in the end. So there is a lot of options here, and obviously we're going to go over all of them now. So in total, guys, we have 12 stones. So the stone is the main attack ability. You only have 2 slots of these, and I summarized them here in the sheet that I will also link in the description with their effects, basically. So just going over them real quick here, and I just summarized a couple keywords here. So we have Bushwalk. It basically damages each target multiple times, and the same target can be hit more than once as well. We have Firefly, 3 quick explosions dealing damage. And keep in mind, guys, this is always the construct, your pet casting these abilities. So one of the biggest problems that I could see is that your construct, might not shoot or cast the ability where you want it to shoot. It has been a problem in Diablo 4 with the pets AI and pets in general and you don't really have to control. Let's say you're fighting 10 monsters over here, and then there's a teeny tiny little spider on the right side, and you are here fighting 10 monsters, and then the construct is going to cast a skill on the small guy on the side instead of the 10 big monsters or elites that you're fighting over there. So it can be pretty frustrating, and I really hope that these guys have a smart AI system attached to them. to be able to cast these. But yeah, Firefly basically 3 explosions dealing damage. A Focus Fire, this is like a ray, probably like a channel ability that does a dot. Burning damage probably over time. We have Gurrit, this is like a Whirlwind AoE attack. You can read about the long skill description here, but it basically just says the construct whirls its legs around, dealing damage to all surrounding enemies. So this is basically Whirlwind AoE damage to me. We have the Impact from the Demon Hunter Dagger hitting in a straight line. We have the Slash, this is probably like a melee cone attack. We have the Lightning Bolt, this is probably like a chain lightning, and I think it talks about it here, that it's losing or doing a portion of the original damage, so just like a chain lightning spell. Then we have, before I talk about this one, we have defense, we have auto defense, we have protect and reconstruct. Auto defense basically is destroying projectiles, doesn't work against players and bosses, so it doesn't work in PvP. Then we have protective barrier on the player for a portion of the damage of maximum life. So that's pretty cool, like it probably unlocks like additional effects like conceded, that not every class can proc very easily. And then we have a reconstruct here, which heals the player. It could make up for undying that we might miss. And then, yeah, we have one crazy power here. It's called Tempest. And this one I didn't want to like summarize because it leaves a lot of room for interpretation. But I think this one, combined with one of the later abilities that we see here, which basically transforms it into the Barber gem, or possibly. It's called Register Damage Support. So first of all, let's talk about the support one here. It says any damage caused from the supported skill is registered. The registered damage explodes at effectiveness when the target dies as fire damage. So what this will basically do, it's going to transform your single target damage into an AoE explosion, similar to of the Barber gem that we had in Season 1. So I'm not really sure how exactly it's going to work, in particular when we combine it with this skill, which is called Tempest, which, at least reading this at face value without playing or testing it, sounds pretty strong, because this attack does, it electrically charges an enemy, causing it to deal damage to themselves. So this is already like a huge unknown, like basically a target. Let's say you cast this on Lilith, right? On Lilith, and she does the wave. Does she damage herself? And if yes, you can probably spread that damage in AoE around the boss or around other enemies. And this happens each second. If the enemy is killed, so if this enemy is killed, the Tempest spreads to another enemy. Let's just envision like a 50 monster pool, and this thing is just like spreading and spreading. And every time it spreads, it's gaining additional time and bonus damage, and the bonus stacks onto the same enemy. And then you combine all this Tempest with the Barber registered damage support, also creating more AoE damage every time things explode. Like this could literally be completely broken in terms of the AoE effects that it can have. And we have like a combination down here that we can talk about here in a second. Let's actually talk about it now, I think. So this is like the Tempest AoE charge explosion combined with the Barber. And then what I also added here is duration support. So this duration of Tempest lasts longer, so it can stack up more because it can hit the same target multiple times effectively, right? So you're getting this Barber plus Tempest effect like multiple times on the same target. So that's why we added the duration support. And then we also have the arcing support, so it hits additional enemies. I don't know like exactly how it will spread. This charge bolt, because if enemy is killed, Tempest spreads to another enemy. So I don't know, maybe we can make it spread to multiple enemies and stuff. But yeah, if the duration is increased, obviously the damage and the staggered damage of the Barber, I'm just going to call it Barber damage support, registered damage support gem, is going to be increased. So we can make these like crazy combinations with this. And before we go into the last combination here that I thought of, example as a HotA melee barb, let's go over like all the support stones. So again, you put the main attack, the main stone you put in here, and then you have support stones, 3 each. So you can have 2 total abilities for your construct with 3 support gems. And these support gems can be pretty powerful. So in total you have 2 slots, 3 slots each stone, so it's a total of 6 runes you can put in. So you have the Swift support, this one gives attack speed to the supported skills. Efficiency support, you get crit chance, another one gives you crit damage against the same target. Another one here is arcing support, it gives additional hits. Then the Barber gem we already talked about, pretty insane. I grouped them into like categories, like the way I think they would be. So we have, these are the damage ones, then this is toughness, you have safeguard, gives you damage reduction. You have one with fortify, this one gains you fortify. And this is a pretty cool addition, I think. Skills with slower attack speed or with high cooldown give you more fortify. So this can be pretty cool, you know, for like these upheavals out there that have like a very long animation or very slow attack speed to gain some good fortify. Hey guys, what's up? So that's going to be cool. And then we have a bunch of utility stuff, basically. Here, one that gives you more AoE damage. I'm going to link this in the description again. One that destroys barriers, has a chance to make vulnerable. I think this one is pretty cool, especially because we lose the vampiric powers to make enemies vulnerable. And this is another cool source we could use. Then we have one that's reducing the cooldown of the skill. This can also be very nice. One that increases the duration. One that gives you primary resource on every hit, or on the first hit, I think. But every time it casts the skill again, let's say you combine this resource with the cooldown one, like the skill has less cooldown, and every time you cast it, it gives you resources, basically. So that could solve a lot of, or that could spark a lot of new build ideas where you don't need any basic skills, you don't need any generators. Hey guys, what's up? Then you have one here. This can also be very useful. I'm going to use it on this HotA barb example below that we're going to talk about in the end. That pulls the distant targets in. Like you have a pixel pull. You say on the barb, like you're smashing with your hammer, and then there's a bunch of archers around, and you just use this stone, this utility stone, and it pulls all the ranged enemies towards you. Pretty cool. Then there's one here that slows. I don't think this is like too great. I don't really see like much of the use case here. Maybe it can help you stagger bosses with the slow, but meh. Not really like my type of gem usually. I like to have more damage. Then there is a projectile support. This is mainly, I guess, for like ranged characters like a sorcerer or rogue, a ranged rogue. It's pretty cool to see some love there because, frankly, like the ranged rogue needs some buffs, I think. And the sorcerer as well. Basically, all the sorcerer is playing ball lightning, which is a melee build. So it's very welcome to see buffs to ranged characters and ranged playstyles, because like rogues, sorcs, even though they are like kind of ranged classes as well, most of them play melee builds currently in the meta. So pretty cool to see like some additional projectiles, projectile piercing and auto aiming. I think especially the additional projectiles could be pretty cool for sorcerer builds that play ranged. Then we have a bunch of dot damage support. So this one is basically similar to each other, like basically every of these skills inflicts like a damage over time effect, whether it's cold, burn, lightning, bleed, poison, or shadow damage over time, and then has like an additional effect. So the cold one also chills the enemy. Again, it adds stagger and also can trigger a bunch of effects, for example, on the Sorc, where you have like additional bonuses against chilled enemies. Burning support is also insane for the Sorc, because usually what you do on the Sorc is you need to take one of the enchantments. Let me actually open this. So what most Sorc builds have, they have the Fire Bolt enchantment. And what this power can do is free up the Fire Bolt enchantment that gives you the burning stuff. It also gives you damage reduction from burning and all these kinds of things. So you can essentially free up an entire enchantment slot just by getting this one out of 6 support gems. So that's pretty cool if it works like this. And then extra crit damage against versus burning. But I think this one only counts from the construct. So probably not that crazy. It only gives you bonus crit damage from the construct. So yeah, like it doesn't work for your main character on the crit bonus, but still you're gonna get the burned out. That's pretty cool. You have some lightning and chance to stun. Then you have bleeding. This could be pretty cool on Barb. You have like basically like another way of triggering bleed, and you also get, maybe they will fix gushing wounds to make it an action multiplier. You also get additional bleeding damage while the target is moving. Would be pretty cool for like a build like, I don't know, like a whirlwind bleed barbarian that's moving through the monsters, and while they are chasing you, they're moving and they're actually like bleeding to death or taking extra bleeding damage. Obviously we don't have any like you know, exact numbers of how much more bleeding damage they will take, but it looks pretty good. Then we have poison support here, additional poison damage, and chance each second to spread all the poison damage to an additional enemy. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Could be cool on like druids and stuff, because you have lots of damage reduction while poison, and this poison is like auto spreading, so you have the DR and various damage effects automatically, and then you can use your Blood Beast or any of the other crazy items that the druid has with double squared multiplier dipping to basically take that poison and deal it as direct damage with your Blood Beast. So it could be a pretty cool combination, we'll see. And then we have a Dusk support. This one is shadow damage over time. This one is more like for Necros, and it interrupts enemy attacks but can't interrupt bosses. I'm not sure exactly how this will work, like if it also interrupts affixes and stuff. We will see and have to test. Then there's one last category, so we have damage, toughness, utility, projectile, dot damage, and then I have what the fuck mode here. I don't know what these are supposed to do, or like which category these are supposed to be. Basically here, it just says the supported skill will cause the construct, like your follower, this guy here, to teleport to the target if it's out of range. Can only occur every so often, so there's a cooldown on it. I don't really know what this is supposed to be useful for. Like your follower just teleports to the enemy. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something crazy. And then there's another one here, Mockery. This one taunts the enemies, similar to what Challenging Sound is doing. I mean, maybe it's good on the bosses on Stagger Bar, but otherwise, I mean, just okay. It's gonna like the enemy is gonna extract your construct, but then it says also doesn't work on bosses. So yeah, I mean, maybe you can have the elites, instead of attacking you, they're gonna attack your pet. But then also, like, this pet, this construct, seems to have a health bar. What happens if it dies, and can it die? So I don't really know, like, what to make out of these. I guess we have to see when we get into the game and actually get to test this, how exactly this will work. But yeah, then we have possible combinations here. So we already talked about the Tempest. I believe this is potentially the strongest combination that I could see for now. I mean, obviously we have to test this, exactly how this Tempest works and how it spreads. And then with the Barber registered damage support here, it just sounds like an awful lot like a Barber. And I mean, people liked or hated the Barber. Like, it was like a pretty split opinions about this. I like the Barber, but it made the game pretty easy. So we'll see how strong this will be. And obviously, like, there needs to be a certain balance between all these runes. Like, if everybody is going to use this register damage support Barber and accumulate damage and then like release it in an AoE explosion, that's gonna be a balance problem as well, but we'll see. So I think especially like for HotA Barb, this could be insane. Like, you make big pulls, and then basically I think the way most people will set up this system is you basically have one skill, like one big damage skill that you will boost. In this case it would be Tempest with the Barber. So whenever the construct does this, it's this like crazy AoE. It's gonna kill, like, if you ever have like a big pull of monsters, it's not gonna be that great on single target, but I think it's gonna be insane for like big pulls of monsters and like huge AoE damage. So this is like one of the runes is gonna be DPS focused, and I think the other one is gonna be like buff focused. It's basically a skill that procs a lot, that has little cooldown, and that gives your other skill and your character in general a bunch of buffs. So this is just like a combination I could see. So you don't want two damage skills, I think. You want to have one big DPS skill on the construct. This one is for AoE damage. And then you have one support skill. And I chose Bushwalk or Firefly because those sound to me like they have good AoE, very easy to hit, like 3 explosions, hits multiple targets. It can also be Lightning Bolt or just something that's going to hit a lot of enemies easily. And also from range. Like, I don't think I would necessarily take Slash unless it has like very low cooldown, because I don't think the damage will be relevant from this buff focus. It's only used to trigger other buffs, such as grants a resource on dealing damage, so grants Fury. So this would be, again, very low cooldown spell. Take whatever has the lowest cooldown. And then you can trigger this all the time. And we are also triggering the gripping support. So our Bushwalk or Firefly will basically, whatever has low cooldown, will basically give us resources. It will pull in the distant enemies to then proc Tempest, our main ability, to deal more damage, right? So this is basically like a support buff focused skill to just buff your main skill and your main build, in this case HotA Barb, right? Because it's pretty cool to pull in enemies with HotA Barb and get resources on attack whenever the skill procs. And then there's a bunch of other options here you can choose. You can get crit chance, you can get crit damage or attack speed bonus. But yeah, these sounded like they only buff the skill that they are supporting. So this might not be a good option. You much more want things like, actually the Fortify one could also be cool. So you much more would want things that actually like just buff the character. Like you gain Fortify, this buffs your character. You gain damage reduction, this buffs your character. But for example, attack speed bonus, if you read it here, it only is buffing the supported skill. So it really depends on how this will finally work. If it's like buffing like only this skill, you don't want attack speed. But you want things like get fury, you get damage reduction, because this stuff, damage reduction, just grants it to you, right? And not to the skill. So you want to pay specific attention of what you're socketing where. Hey Armin, what's up? Good to see you, man. Happy wife, man. Let's go. So yeah, this is like the sort of combination. I have a recap here, if you want to check it out. I have a full recap here, guys, about all the stuff. I'm going to link that in the description as well, if you haven't checked the stuff. And yeah, we have the first ideas of combinations. I think we will learn a lot more here on the developer stream tomorrow. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this overview. Again, I'm going to link this sheet below. It's just like a very, easy to understand and also group by category sheet here that I made to understand it a little bit better than from this blog post here, because there's a bunch of text here, and this is just very simple, very dumbed down, just like 2 theory craft to check out first builds. And I think this is like already a pretty cool combination that I could see me testing out. But yeah, I'm hyped for the season, guys. It looks cool. I know there is like a bit of negativity around a lot of topics, and I also do not agree on a couple things, like like having the leaderboards delayed, and also having like a pet that like randomly casts the skills somewhere. I would much rather, myself cast those skills. But apart from that, I think the season theme looks fantastic, and they probably have good reason why the leaderboard and the gauntlet is delayed. And one of those reasons might be because there is so many bugs in the game. And whenever this season comes out, we haven't tested this, like seeing all these mechanics here, there's gonna be just a bunch of new mechanics in the game and a bunch of new combinations. And yeah, maybe this is gonna be a problem for leaderboards if this is untested. So hopefully we can get those bugs fixed, and then they don't delay the leaderboards too much. I would really hope it to come out like a week or 2 after season launch, but we will see how that's gonna go, guys. Anyways, I'm pumped. I'm gonna keep you guys updated. Take care, my friends. GG. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.